alike, welcome to the North America Challenger Tournament Spring Season of 2023. Roundtable with me are the incredible talents, the casters, your favorite streamers in North America. How's everybody doing? Starting from whoever want to start first. Go ahead. Let's go with Private.
Private Dancer here, streamer, caster, and aficionado of starchy things.
What's going on, world? Steph Weezy here from the side of Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Hi, my name is Eunice, one of the casters for NACT. Nice to meet you guys.
Oh no!
What is happening?
My name is Coach Deku. Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Coach Deku, one of the NACT casters, and yeah.
And we have a mannequin Ben over there at the right bottom corner. So we're gonna go to G, I guess. G, go ahead.
Yo, G the Ico here, YouTuber, influencer. I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes in the NACT as well. But yeah, how's it going?
Hello guys, Yue, YouTuber here. Used to play in the tournaments. Now we're just sitting on the scenes watching, just like everybody else. So nice to meet you guys all.
Just like everybody else. You are still our pro player analyst. That is right. So welcome everybody. This is a roundtable today, and we got the best talents from North America. And today we have quite a bit of agenda to go over. We're going to show you guys, a lot of you guys were wondering about the bracket, wondering about the current standing of teams. And then obviously there's the easy version for everybody to understand from the rulebook. And there is the backend version that we use to calculate exactly where teams are. So, and we're going to share all of that details with you today. So hopefully, after the discussion, you have a better understanding of exactly how things are done, and also you get a really good idea from the casters' predictions from the past and also into the future of the current standing in ACT of which team to watch out for and all that kind of great stuff. So without further ado, let's first talk about the current bracket. We're gonna go ahead and go to our website. Where's the website? Here we go.
Art.gg.
Right here. Oh, we got Private.
Woo! What's up?
Private, what do you think about the current standing so far?
Well, we're looking at the matches, but the current standings,
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of had, as far as the standings are concerned, I think they had the top four and the bottom four grouping the same. It's just the order of it now that has really kind of thrown everybody for a loop now. It's really interesting too, especially the fact that the biggest thing that everybody, like I've been talking about, BTK barely holding on to that fourth position there. And I think the big thing here too as well is Ackerman and Area 77 have been very dominant in their matches, especially Ackerman, who just recently, I believe it was last week, took a victory over BTK to find themselves in that second seed position, which is it's something I've been wanting to see from Ackerman, especially from Nicolette, Kush, Zia on that team. Some very strong players there, but I mean, you can't mention this without the dominance of Ohio right now.
Okay, yeah. And by the way, guys, I want to make it clear, the standing on the Start.g website might not be accurate. It does track all the detailed wins, the match wins, and all kinds of stuff, but Start.g does not have the point system that we use behind the scene. So it's not 100% accurate. It does give you a good picture of where things are. And then to our panelists, everybody on the deck today, feel free to talk whenever you want. We have my best friend Joey controlling the deck. So we will have camera control done pretty well. Anyways, so. But before I get to Steph Weezy, I do want to quickly explain how the points system works. So just now what I was showing is actually, here, let me quickly come to this picture. It's actually a picture done by Trex, which is one of the best casters in North America, right? Our great talent. Unfortunately, he could not make it today. He had an emergency. But this gives you an idea, because he wrote points in here, and I want everybody to know this. By the way, this is correct current standing, and when I want to know how the point system are done, right? So the first way the first, should I say, layer of tiebreaker is going to be the big match, big series wins, right? How many series have you won so far in the current in the current season. So if you look down right here to the Start.g website, to our actual website, you will see that it shows how many sets a team have won, and that give you a really good idea. That's first layer. And then it goes down to the second layer, which is game count. The game count here give you a really good idea of exactly how much points a team should have. Every time you win a small game, you earn 2 points. Every time you lose a small game, you have a -1. And that's why if you go back to the picture Trex made, you see Limey Top, they won only 2 games so far and they lost 8. So they're put at -4. But here is this is very simple, how everything is done. And for more details, I highly recommend you guys to go to the rulebook of NACT, and it explains exactly how every layer of tiebreaker works. Most people actually did not read the rulebook, but if you do actually read the rulebook, you will know exactly how the points are calculated. So with that being said, I'm going to quickly go back to our panelists and then go to Steph Weezy. Steph Weezy, so what do you think about the current standing, about where we are right now?
Well, right now it's been insane. I mean, just in the first 4 rounds, we've seen a lot of surprises, right? We would have thought that a lot of people expected BTK to be in the second place or first place position. To see them barely hanging on, and really, even though we say 4th place, they're tied in 4th place, right? We have Empire, who's at the same position as them, and that just lets you know that the competition is getting better. I know throughout previous NACTs, especially the fall season that I was able to cast on, it was more like a one-sided story, right? We've seen the Valley come through and just clean house. This time around, I mean, the Ohio brothers is looking like that, maybe possibly that superstar team taking that place, but there's teams right on their bumper, right? You have Area 77, you have Ackerman, both of them currently 3-1 standing for the win-loss ratio right there, and it just shows you that they're willing to go that extra mile. But highlighting over the Ohio brothers, what is so impressive about them is they haven't lost a single game, and so they're sitting really, really stacked up on points, and that's not the easiest thing to do. So they definitely have a strong, secured spot for that the playoffs, but looking at the other teams, right, they're very close. I mean, even looking at BTK, Mobile Zane, the revamped BTK, we've seen them have a little bit of struggles throughout the past 2 rounds, but they're still hanging in there, right? And that's the beautiful thing about this is a double round robin. The first time we've ever done this in North America, which means these teams have the opportunity to turn it back around in their favor as we get later down the season.
Yeah. What about you, Eunice? And by the way, just let's go down this, clockwise circle. So after Eunice, we can go to Deku and then G and Yue. So Eunice, go ahead.
I mean, just looking at the double round robin, I'm not usually too used to those because usually it's a single bracket elimination. But knowing that some teams, if you think about it, right? I know the new BTK is not up to the top 3 par that everybody else wanted there, but if you think about it, if this wasn't a double round robin, so many teams would have already been knocked off. But now that this is a double round robin, they have chances to get back to where they wanted to, or to get back and try to get a chance back, because I mean, if you already look at the scoreboard, it's so tight with each other. And A77 Ackerman right now, they have the same match win loss, but A77's only in 1 more win because of the point system, which is how many matches you win to how many matches you lose. But now when we get to the second round after this first round, a lot of those scores are gonna change, but I just don't know who is gonna be up and where. And I don't know, seeing all these matches kind of prevail, and then Weezy and I casting it, and then having a talk after, I don't know. I'm just kind of stoked right now to see where everything goes.
Okay, and we come to Frozen Deku camera. Is this guy contemplating?
He's sleeping.
Deku,
He's not moving me. Oh, there he goes.
No, I'm not frozen, man. I'm just sitting. I mean, I kind of, my thing, when we kind of started and that whole interview we had was about the new teams. So I'm really excited more so out of anything to see Empire sitting here tied up with BTK. I think that's really huge. Are really being talked about because I mean they're right there. If they break away from BTK, they're not that far away from Ackerman, right? To be in that 3rd place slot. I feel like everything below Ohio, like you said, they're very very well ahead. So it's going to be, I think it's really just going to be a battle getting to that 2nd place. And I think Empire is one of those teams that can definitely make it through. We saw from their first weekend, they didn't win a series. But now.
No, go ahead. Because your camera is frozen, so I have to. By the way, can you tell everybody where you are right now?
Oh, if they haven't noticed now, I'm with Big G.
Yeah.
We're
By the way,
with the dude.
Just tell him to turn around.
yeah, you can.
Camera.
Yeah, wave at G's camera. That is
But,
so awesome, by the way.
But yeah, so I'm really hoping to see because Empire, like their first weekend, right? They kind of took their losses, right? They weren't able to win any series. But this weekend they were able to pick up two, right? They were able to win two of their series. I think that's really showing how quickly they're evolving and adapting with these top 8 teams. So I'm really excited to see how they do for the rest of the season.
All right, now we go to G.
Yo. So one thing that kind of sticks out to me about these brackets are Area 77 and Ackerman are both teams that I've seen grow for a long time throughout the NASL, throughout my whole time of casting, and to see them finally being in the second, the third, Area 77 already won a NACT, but now they're approaching to do something that's a lot different than the NACT that they won last time. That this gives them a chance to possibly, get put on a trophy, go to MSC, and do things like that. So seeing them, Area 77 and Ackerman at the top, man, like it's joyful. It's like seeing your children grow,
I like you said, seeing your children grow. UA, obviously, you have a lot of there are a lot of stuff happening revolving your Axe team, right, in this tournament. So yeah, give us your thoughts on the current standing.
Well, just
Give us something spicy.
Okay, I'll give you something spicy in the end, cherry on top. But just right now, honestly, I think what's the most interesting thing is that third and fourth slot. I feel like there's a lot of these teams that have such like huge caliber players that come from like M4, M3. We're talking about like TOB, we're talking about Ackerman, we're talking about BTK. These organizations are backed up by players that have been to the world stage. So I kind of like feel like those 3 teams especially are going to be top 3, and we're like extremely early on into the season. We're not even halfway there, so we really have no idea what's happening, right? But for the rest of the teams, we're talking about Empire, we're talking about Fall, my spicy team, we're talking about Wasians, these teams, and even Ackermans themselves. These teams really have to prove to beat these top 3 teams. In my personal opinion, I still think BTK is going to secure that 3rd spot relatively easy throughout the whole entire season. I think Ackerman is going to be hitting that 2nd. And, I'm not disregarding A77. I'm just talking about pure experience. But again, these teams, they have to figure out a way how to beat the top 3 teams, or else they're not going to be up there.
Right. And guys, feel free to jump in anytime. This is a free discussion. But I want to give everyone who's watching like an idea. Remember, this is double round robin. So right now we're just going through the first round, and we're not even like, there at the first round. Right? I think we're at second week.
Past halfway.
Yeah, we're past halfway of the first round. But there's also a second round, which means like every team is definitely not out of the tournament. If Limey Top just decided to go ham and start winning every game, they have a chance for a grand finals. They really do. It's absolutely, there are just so many opportunities for all those teams. And then it's all about who is going to make most amount of effort to make a change right now at this point.
I think there's other factors to consider too as well when it comes to the relationships that these players have with each other on the teams. Not just little things, but like things with the Wasians. I know Cold World's on that team, and he's also, from what I hear, what rumors are, is he's going to be on Gosu's next actual team, and he's going to be trying out as a mage. Is that mage practice going to start interfering with his marksman, with him being sharp on the marksman? We've seen Shark start to dance outside the meta box now, going for the fanny. This is shades of what he used to do last year around the first NACT, where he would use that fanny, maybe start getting a little loose with how confident he is with these things and become, I don't want to call it a liability, but I mean, there's a certain type of respect that needs to be for each game. And I mean, he's a good decider of when he needs to be like game face on. But a lot of these teams have things going on in the back, and we're wondering if that might have a factor too. And least of all, or well, not least of all, being like Fallout with the the whole transition from a Gosu team to Fallout as well.
Right.
Wait, but you didn't like the Hanabi from Wasians? Powerless? Ooga Booga?
That's Ooga Booga. That's I
3 games
still
on
I
the
still.
Hanabi. I think Cold World in terms of his transition, he's gonna do what he needs to do. But I do think Ooga Booga is the powerhouse player for that team. So I think that marksman slot will be towards him for the Wasian side at least.
Well, anyone else, feel free, jump in now.
So I can kind of build off of what Yue was just saying there. So I've been doing a lot of the statistics and everything behind the NACT. So I've been handling a lot of the KDAs and looking at how many people have been subbed out and subbed in. And I will say that one thing is a lot of the teams that are on the lower end of the spectrum, they're having a lot of subs play in and out. It's never just the same lineup. So, and I think that's kind of causing a problem with the teams because they're not having a consistent 5. And that goes with Ooga Booga, right? Like he's been constantly swapped in and out. If I'm not mistaken, he's been out of like maybe I think it was 3 or 4 games already, and then somehow thrown in. And sometimes that's a wrench that does get thrown into another team because now whoever's in that lane's having to deal with that. But it's also, I think, affecting the performance of a lot of these teams that are on the lower spectrum.
Right. Ooh, wait. Is Coach Deku's camera back? I see a sign of movement.
Sliver of health.
I don't always show a lot of signs of life. I stay relatively still. I'm sorry.
Oh my.
This is like he's literally not moving. I don't think he's moving that much. He's moving from G's camera, that's for sure. Okay. Anyone else want to chime in? Wheezy, Eunice.
Well, I will say one thing about the NACT so far. What's been so surprising for me is just the diversity of the players. Just their hero pool's been crazy, especially the junglers. We've been seeing a lot of the assassins pulled out, and typically in North America, people like to label us as just a tank fighter type jungle style, and just seeing a lot of people kind of implement what I've been watching over there in NPL Indonesia, NPL Philippines. It's been very impressive, and just the flexibility of the players overall. And I think this is one of the probably hardest challenges for Zayn this time around is there's a lot of players who have high assassin hero pools. They can play the assassins, they can rotate, they can split push. And I know it's still a tankier fighter meta, but they have a little bit more capability when it comes to the drafting phase. And I think that's a dynamic that Zayn does have to face. I know one of the biggest things I've seen, one of the most anticipated battles, we threw it right on for the first match of the first day was BTK up against the Ohio brothers. And honestly, I think it was challenging because, for one, Zayn was going up against 3 of his former teammates. They literally played with him all of last year, so they knew his rotations. They knew what he kind of prioritized throughout the game. So it's just a very hard thing to do when they know all of his mechanics, and not only having to battle against that, but battling against all the players who kind of look up to like Carl Teasy, the best jungler in the world right now, kind of holding that title from M4. And honestly, you just love to see it. What we're gaining and what we're growing as a region. The hero pool is definitely there. Even from NACT, fall and summer, the dynamic that we're looking at now, it's almost a lot of times it's unpredictable in the draft with the creativity of these teams.
All right, Eunice, I'll give you the closing statement for this section before I move on to the next.
I mean, if you're talking about unpredictable drafts, I think it was the game where Wheezy and I were casting, was it Ohio Brothers against Malaysians? Yeah, Ohio Brothers kind of stumped us on the draft, and we were kind of panicking because we didn't know what was happening because they were so weird. And then I know Wheezy has more casting experience and probably watched a lot more games, and obviously this is only my first time coming in, but I have never seen such unorthodox picks getting drafted out and then just played as if it was nothing. Power went Hanabi, Chacho went Alpha Jungle, Shark went Fanny. The picks were so weird, and then seeing that, knowing that we all here play a decent amount of ML, right? Seeing those lineups, you're just what the hell? But I think that was really challenging, or not challenging, but just really interesting to cast, and then getting stomped on with Giraffe with Wheezy and I on the spot. Nah, I'm about to talk with the Ohio Brothers real quick because we stomped Wheezy and I. So, but yeah, it's pretty interesting right now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm loving NACT, to be honest. Right, we have so many, and by the way, we just have a huge update in the game. Right, that's gonna spice things up for this upcoming weekend because that's effective immediately for the tournament this weekend. And I cannot wait, right? I know some heroes are banned, by the way, for all those who are watching. We have gotten confirmation that the Minthithar, the character everybody wants to watch, unfortunately is banned away. Right? What do you guys? By the way, Minthithar is absolutely popping off. I've been watching on streams. What do you guys think about this? Like new meta? New
Ico
updates?
Night. Oh,
I'm tired
Ico
of seeing
Night.
them.
Oh yeah, no. So Ico
Tired.
Night actually had a rank session last night. We were playing a couple games, and then I think Ico was playing marksman. No, I was playing marksman. You were. I don't know what you were playing. What were you playing?
I think I was maybe tank. I don't.
Were you
something like
mage?
that. Maybe I don't.
I don't know, but we had a Minotaur and a Freya on the same team, and then it just no. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Like,
His
I just want to say
the
I
biggest.
MVP'd.
well, yeah, you
His-
MVP'd
his-
because I was wrong. I was
His
wrong.
shield
For
assault
you.
now is a crazy amount of damage that
Oh,
I was wondering too, because when we had discussed it in the back before about what was going to be banned. And then another thing too is like whatever those little lag issues the Moonton has figured out. So I guess one of the skins is banned. But I was kind of confused too because Minthithar is basically he's almost like a new hero. He's been revamped. Basically, the only thing that kind of stayed the same was that he has a spear that comes out there. But now it grabs everybody who's in the line of sight of it. And not just that, but that shield assault, the damage that comes out of that is absolutely, he's like a machine gun. And there's not, I think he's pretty much, there's nobody who can stand against him in the XP lane right now. And I was wondering, because that pretty much changes the landscape of how these compositions are going to be thrown together. And I was wondering if maybe we were going to give it a little bit of time, because he's still got that new hero smell on him right now that everybody's still getting adjusted to. Like, I mean, there's still people banning him. Even before I just wanted him banned because I didn't want new people to play him and test him out in ranked matches. There's so many questions right now with him that I think it's a good call to have him kind of sit on the sidelines for a bit, at least for this week.
All right, guys. Now we're gonna move on to the next section, which is prediction for the future. But before we get to there, a little announcement for everybody who's watching NACT. A little exciting news for all of you guys. Yes, make sure to follow our community tabs and also join our Discord for our most updated information regarding NACT. But ladies and gentlemen, NACT Grand Final will be hosted in Las Vegas, the HyperX Arena. Oh, the pyramid structure that you've been seeing on TV about Las Vegas, yes, that's where it's going to be hosted. I'm very excited. Guys, what's your thoughts about the Grand Finals this year for NACT?
Well, I'll say it's definitely an upgrade from the last venue. I mean, I was able to kind of visit there and partake in that halftime show, private dancer, Picasso over there. But it was definitely a fun time, and honestly, it was a great venue. I was very impressed, and to know that we've got a huge major upgrade. I mean, look at it's a freaking black pyramid, bro. Like, how could you not be excited about that? And honestly, I just can't wait to go. It was a blast last year, and for those who didn't get to partake in it, make sure you guys go. I mean, it's literally in Las Vegas. There's everything out there. It's gonna be such a fun time, and hopefully we can see you guys there.
Yeah,
This place is also like a content creator heaven. Like it's held, and like Mr. Beast has been there, Ninja's been there. Like there's been some icons that have been to this arena, and now like seeing the NACT secure something like this has like brought my excitement level even higher than what it was last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never been there before, so I'm excited. Go ahead,
I
Private.
Googled it a little bit because I think the biggest thing I wanted to know is how seating works in there. I think the max seating that we had for the Poker Go Studio E-Stars, which was the last one we just did, was like 150, 200 max. And this one has 500 seating. Wow. So it's a little over double than what we had last time. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think I talked to our production director, and then the news that I got was this venue can hold up to 750 people. But obviously, it's humongous.
In the rafters.
It's gonna be so much fun. But yeah, guys, make sure mark your calendar. May 14th, that's when the grand final is. It's gonna be in this venue, and your favorite caster will be there. And we just had an announcement today where Nice is coming live.
Oh,
Yeah. To to grand finals. That is going to be exciting.
Let's go.
A little bit of international news. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, we're going to talk about very, very important spicy content, which is future predictions. Okay. So we have some upcoming matches. And this time, let's take a little counterclockwise approach. Let's start with Yue. Yue, we're going to go ahead and show you the upcoming matches, right? So, like, what do you think? Asians versus Fallout, Area 77, Ackerman, Empire, Ohio Brothers, Bloodthirsty, Let me talk.
Well, just in the round 5, like Fallout and Wasians, they're kind of in the same spot, but gotta root for the Fallouts. I do like Wasians. They have like that like crazy draft Chacho in the jungle. They also got like Ooga Booga. They also got like Arvel in the tank and also OSP Chris. But you know, I gotta root for Fallout there. On the next match, Ackerman versus A77, a match that determines that second spot. Very spicy for me. You know, just in terms of like a textbook style play, Ackerman's probably going to take that one. I like A77 too. It's just that, you know, Zia being from the world stage, you know, he's just really, really big. And in terms of that last match, oh my. I would root for the Empires, but Ohio Brothers gonna take this one. That's just how it's gonna be. They're just gonna be winning everything.
And you have one more match.
Oh, I got one more match. Oh, Bloodthirsty Kings versus Lightning Top. Well, if Zane doesn't win that 2-0, man, you know, I think he's gonna take.
What is this guy trying to say here? Like, he's just saying, God damn.
If these guys want to go places, they have to be winning against specific teams that are ranked in a specific way, right? You have to go 2-0 against BTK.
Just say it.
2-0 against.
Just say it.
Say it, man.
I'm gonna say it. Those gentlemen in BTK, those darker gentlemen are not BTK. They're just not. I think they're struggling. They're struggling every matchup, and you're right. If they can't beat Lamy Top, as Zane says, might as well forget about it.
Yeah, you're not gonna do anything.
Well, hey, I did want to say this is the unbiased panel. All right. I personally love Limey Top. All right, G, what do you think?
So if we're looking at the first games being Wasians versus Fallout, both of these teams are actually, if I'm not mistaken, tied. So this is going to be a decision factor on who controls on the upper. So from my experience dealing with both of these teams, it's kind of hard to say. You know, like they're again, as you can see, based on these standings, they are Fallout is up by 1. So I'm gonna root for the Wasians on this one. And then if we dive into the next one, which would be Area 77 versus Ackerman, this is also going to be another one that determines who takes that second place spot or who keeps that second place spot. So this is going to be another game to look out for. But I'm going to have to give this to Ackerman here, as I am a little bit more of a fan to Ackerman, even though I do love both of these teams. Again, I said they were almost like children. So Ackerman. We got the Empire versus the Ohio Brothers next. This I don't think there's anybody that's gonna hit the brakes on the Ohio Brothers. They're too strong right now. Their team lineup, everything. I'm giving it to the Ohio Brothers. Though the Empire is one of the strongest teams that I've seen, and they're on the upcoming. So definitely keep an eye out for them because maybe they are the showstopper. Then we go into BTK versus Lamy Top, and both teams have been giving me I'm just I don't know at this point. BTK, I thought BTK was gonna hold their own, and but if they lose any more games, they're gonna be falling more down the tier list here. So I'm gonna give it to BTK just because it is who they are. They do in the stats wise have better stats than the other squad.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Before we move to you, I want to say something different because we have obviously talked quite a bit about this day, right? How about let's do the next day, round 6. I want all the viewers to know the first entire round robin, entire circle finish at a round 7, right? So if you come here and take a look at the bracket, right here, right? You see this is where round A starts, and then like round A is where the second entire full circle starts, going down, right? So everything here, this is where Ohio Brother faces BTK again. This is where everything resets. But before round 8, up to round 7, is the full one circle. So Deku, with your very, very top-notch analysis skills, give us some ideas on round 6.
I'm about to come over here to G. I can't really see on mine. You said round 6 or round 7?
Yeah, round 6.
Round 6. Got Ackerman Empire.
Oh, you gotta get my camera.
I'm not gonna lie. My bad. I'm not gonna lie. Ackerman Empire. I'm gonna root for Empire. I'm gonna give it to Empire only because I really feel like they're on the up and up. And like I said, since the first week when they had no wins on either series, and then to come to this weekend and get both series on a dub and convincingly and with some different draft styles. Shout out to their coach Wei over there. I definitely can see them beating Ackerman here if they keep on the progression on the scale. Ohio Brothers Wagins, Ohio for sure. Fallout BTK. That I'd like to say it'd be Zane, okay, but they've taken some losses to kind of make you doubt a little bit there. But I'm gonna give it to Zane there just because I feel like he's gonna bounce back after losing to a Hanabi, and almost doing it twice to kind of come out here and convincingly, make that statement again like he did previously when they lost to that's just not who we are. So I'm gonna give it to BTK there on Fallout. And then Area 77, I think they take out Lamy Top. Lamy Top, they're just really behind the curve against every other team here. If you really want to talk about it in game, their drafting is good, but I don't think they've caught up in gameplay yet. That's what I'm looking at for round 6.
All right, and now we'll move on to Eunice. Eunice, what do you think about round 6? Actually, how about you take a look at round 6 and round 7 and decide which one you want to talk about? Here, go ahead.
Let's see. Oh, I'm going for 7. Okay. So I'm already seeing Empire versus Lamy Top. I'm gonna have to give it to Empire for that one. Because the thing is, the match with Empire versus BTK, you can see how hype it was. I'm not we aren't talking about a whole one-sided story either. Alex had a maniac against BTK, especially on his Martis, and when have you seen any of the players that go up against BTK get a maniac on top of their team? So that label kind of sticks out. Was in the top 5 highlights as well. So that he is a good jungler. But I am gonna root for Empire against Lamy Top. Lamy Top, I kind of feel like it's more of those underdog teams that got I wouldn't say lucky, but they did fight for that spot, so I want to give credits to them as well. They are doing pretty good, but they do have to fight a lot to secure any of the upper top 4 or even 5th, 6th place right there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. BTK versus A77. Now this one, I'm going to swing my vote over to A77 only because I'm gonna say this now. BTK, good team, good players, and everything. But seeing how BTK has been performing, and seeing how A77 has been performing, and how how intense the matches went, and how they play, I'm gonna have to slide my vote over to A77 for this one. But I know that this might be a very intense match, knowing that there are really good teams and players on both sides. So, but my caster vote is gonna go to A77, and then Wasians versus Ackerman. This is also pretty. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give my vote over to Ackerman. We'd see how they play. Their stats are pretty high right now, so I'm gonna have to give it over to Ackerman for this one. And Ohio Brothers versus Fallout. No one stopped putting brakes on Ohio Brothers. There's no stop sign for them, so I'm gonna toss my vote over really quick over to Ohio Brothers as well. So. I don't know.
Yo, Weezy, are you gonna be the outlier? Are you gonna say somebody is gonna stop the Ohio train? What's going on, Weezy?
Well, honestly, the team I thought that would have took them down would have been Area 77, and that didn't happen. But I will say though, in that series when they went up against each other, I think was a little bit of a misdraft in the first match, but in their second game, they literally were like almost tied with the Ohio brothers. Like it was a very long game, and that just shows me down the wire, down the line when they go up against them again, I do think they're going to be the team to be able to pump the brakes and shut them down, at least and take a possible series from them. If not, at least take a match and ruin their flawless record so far. So that's the team that I've been kind of keeping my eye on, Area 77. I feel like they're the next best team in my opinion. They have the best synergy so far. I mean, you got Gals Cutie, you got Mar Cutie, and you guys got to pay attention to this, man. I'm telling you, this dude is literally like the Benny Cutie for North America. Like he's insane. He's the only marksman that's got a maniac. He has a very high hero pool. He's always at the right place at the right time. Bro, even if when the highlights come out for what we just seen in the round 3, round 4, you're gonna see this man backdoor and take and total bases and close games out. Not too many marksmen. I don't think any marksman has done that besides him. So, I mean, we did see the Ohio brothers. You had Shark close the game out with the backdoor with the Fanny. That was pretty impressive too. But I'm just speaking outside of the superstar team, right? Everybody has their eyes on the Ohio brothers, but we got to make sure we're paying attention to the other teams around us because they do provide some good competition, honestly. And if anybody can pump the brakes for the Ohio brothers, it's definitely, in my vote, going to be Area 77. And now looking down at round 8, Eunice kind of took the one I wanted to look at. That was all the explosive games I wanted to see. But round 8, right? The Ohio brothers up against BTK. We've seen it. It was the first game for the first day, and it was pretty a very big, bold statement from the Ohio brothers to let the world know nobody's going to stop them. They got a sweep over BTK, and honestly, it was just like a one-sided story. But we do know they have Zane. They have that. When you have the M Series talent behind you, you're able to kind of take it to a next level that other teams can't, just because they have that experience and that IQ. So I can't wait to see what they do this time around. I know they watch the games. They're like, okay, we probably lost here. We should have denied this, and it's a different dynamic, right? It's pretty much when you look at best player and you look at Moba Zane. It's a funny little joke that I say, like Moba, and even us on the casters that say, best player is the anti-Zane. He's literally Zane if he went the assassin route. And like his skills are just that dominant for that assassin role, where Zane, he's the king of the jungle. He's the king of farming. His rotation is flawless. 9 times out of 10, he's going to hit that retribution. He's going to provide that pressure. But there are other talent out there who can do the same thing. And honestly, with a higher hero pool, even if Zane has a better farm rotation, better macro micro, it's a team game. And when you're able to play the assassins, you have the high mobility. It requires more heroes to be banned out because you have that high hero pool. But when you ban out the assassins, what happens? It means more stuff is on the table for them to grab in the draft because you had to ban the assassins, which is when you look at a team that goes up against BTK, they never have to ban an assassin. I do know they have the potential other players can play it. I know T could play the assassin if they really wanted to, but I don't see T replacing Zane in the jungle from time to time. I think it would be a good strategy, maybe to throw a team off in one game. Like, hey, this is a big game. I know Zane's he's high IQ. He can play pretty much any role. Maybe it is a good strategy. Let T run that assassin Fanny one time and throw a team completely off and dominate him. I mean, a win's a win. It's a team game, and honestly, I know he's a superstar. He's a great player. He's done amazing things for the North American community. Definitely love that, and always has our support. But you got to just be a little bit more diversified with your draft, and that's what a player like best player in the assassin position for the Ohio brothers provides. So it's going to be an upscale battle. Not to mention we kind of harped in on BTK and the Ohio brothers. The Ohio brothers has 3 out of the 5 teammates Zane ran with last year. So that's already a hard thing for him to kind of go against. So I'm not really seeing them take a game from them. And honestly, and it's not being biased. It's just being pure factual, right? When you're not already going against your teammates and they know how you play, like you're going to have a hard time even in his farm rotation. So that's how that one's going to go. If you do fast forward though, I think it's going to be 2-0 again, but hopefully Zane can, if anybody can kind of flip the script, it's definitely going to be him, but he definitely has a lot of work to do because that is a super hard team to take down. And we've seen so many teams try and do it, and they're unstoppable, man. But still on round 8, Fallout versus Ackerman. I think it's going to be a great game as well. Ackerman, I don't know. I would have initially said Fallout, but Ackerman's been full of surprises, man. So honestly, I'm kind of going to lean with them when it comes to the benefit of the doubt because they've just been a little bit more impressive, in my opinion, so far between the last 4 days for the NACT Spring Season. So I'm definitely going to look at that one. If I'm looking at Fallout Ackerman, I'm going to say 2-1, right? I do think Fallout has what it takes to disrupt them. I mean, when I look at Ackerman, I feel like they're strong at some times, but then other times they look a little shaky. I mean, and I think it really just depends on Toinks, right? He's a really good roamer, but sometimes he's a little off. And when that happens, it kind of messes up the synergy. Nicolette's not able to get online, doesn't have the proper protection needed, and they get shut down. But when he is online, they are on fire. So it's kind of like that flip of the coin. But I do see them taking down Fallout 2-1, just going pure facts on that. So it's going to be an exciting game to see. It's going to be a huge statement. Then moving down, Wage Tops versus Lamey Top. This game is huge, and I'm going to say this one is huge for Lamey Top. They have to take a win. They need this, right? They can't keep losing anymore. They're not going to make it to the playoffs. Not to mention Wajins, they're not at the top of the list right now in terms of who's sitting at that top 4 position. They're number 6. They're right above Lamey Top. So if they can't take them down, how can we expect them to take anybody down? You know, so hopefully I like rooting for the underdogs. I know I've spoke to Trex in the background previously, and he said that too. Like, nobody wants to see a one-sided story. We want to see a team that struggles in the beginning, grow in the end, and let you know, like, hey, the possibilities are endless, especially in North America. So, in their sake, I hope they can do it. Wajin, you know, they're a good team, but a little questionable at times. I mean, come on, bro, like a little questionable. If we're looking at Wajin's Ooga Booga, man, I gotta ask him if he's here. Why did you pick Hanabi for 3 games? Why? Why did you do this to us? The thing is, they could have beat BTK. And then, I don't know. Dude, I'm telling you, I literally almost ripped off my dreads on that game. It was literally insane. The fact that they pulled it off once, I'm like, okay, great, but they're not a team that you can do that multiple times to. I think it was just a slip through the crack, a slight misplay from the side of BTK, and they were able to close that game out. But then they just picked it again and again. And I don't know. I feel like next time, if they do want to continue to climb up that ladder and get to that top 4 position, they got to be a little bit more creative in the draft. You cannot always do the same thing. These teams have high elo, they have high IQ, and if you're not able to adapt to the situation within the series, you're going to have a hard time closing out on any of these teams, and that might be something Lamey Top can work in their advantage to be able to take them down. Moving past forward that, we were looking at the Empire going up against Area 77. Spoke about Area 77. They're definitely, in my opinion, one of the strongest teams so far. The synergy's there, the hero pool's there, the creativity's there, and they got Mark Cutie, man. I'm a Mark Cutie fan all day. Like, he's been dominating. In the Empire, I'm a fan of them too. They've been pretty impressive too. I think they have a really strong chance to do some damage, but Area 77, like I said, I think they're the only team who has what it takes currently so far, at least from what we've seen, right? Anything can change. I mean, there's a lot that can happen in 5 days between the rounds if they're practicing. And honestly, I think Area 77, they're a hard team to kind of beat, and I think they have what it takes to take down the Empire. If I had to predict it, I would still say 2-1 though, but it's just going to be dependent on how the Empire plays, and hopefully they can take a victory in that. But it's going to be an exciting season nonetheless, and hopefully we see some more shockers when we do rotate around to round 8.
Absolutely. Wow. That is a really... I don't know how you can talk without break for so long. That was impressive. I think another person in the room who can talk without breaks, Private now. So there are 2 things. Okay, one thing is that I want to tie it back to the first circle, which is round 7. You know, maybe do some predictions before the round 7 matches. Number 2, don't mean to throw the hot ball on your laps, but I think just now Steph Weezy was mentioning about the BTK and the current roster of BTK versus the Ohio brothers. Right, you have Zane versus 3 of his previous members, but I think when Zane first reformed BTK, he had Chicken in mind, right? I think a lot of people was wondering, what like, do you think if Chicken is in BTK, they would have a different performance right now? Yeah, go ahead.
Right now, what BTK is right now is what the international stage thought they were when they first met them at M3. They thought it was just the all Zane show, and all they needed to do was shut Zane down and they would be able to topple BTK. They showed them in M3 that they were more than Zane. They had the synergy, they had Chicken, they had Victor, they had just everybody was playing their role and playing it precisely. Unfortunately, that's not what we have right now in BTK. I don't know that Chicken would change that because that's just one other person there. And I'm like I said, like the original BTK. You had 5 people who had been playing together for about 2 years and had that synergy, had that cohesion with each other. Right now, unfortunately, like even my formula for right now with this current BTK is if they can't beat them, if they can't finish the series in 2 games, I can't give it to BTK anymore. I feel like when it comes to them taking a loss, it hits them hard. It hits them where it hurts, and it becomes something that they can't manage all the time. I know there have been some 3 series that they have won, but I'm talking about like when it comes to predictions and stuff like even Area 77 versus BTK. I think that's happening in round 7 or something like that. I have that going to Area 77 just because right now BTK has a lot of things to work on. And to your question, even with Chicken, I don't know that would have been different. You would just have 2 superstars on there and 3 other people who really need to kind of come together as a team. And I'm sorry to say, I just don't know what else that they can do to kind of make that happen in the time constraints we have right now. You were talking about some of the earlier weeks with all this, and with you said you wanted to go back to week 6, or
yeah, it's week 6 or 7 for the first circle. Yeah, anything you want to talk about here?
Well, the big thing is. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any surprises here in these matches. I mean, Ackerman, even though Empire has been super surprising, they've been the biggest surprise for me throughout this entire round robin is Empire coming up the way they have. Basically an unknown team when it comes to the top 8, and then just becoming this dependable team. I think it was commented before about the rosters, people kind of keeping their rosters, trying to keep their rosters the same, and what that does for a team. However, I mean, I don't have them over Ackerman just because they are super strong right now. And I think getting into the other prediction, I think if Ackerman take the win the week before, they're going to be like a train, a locomotive coming for Empire, and they might blow right through them. Next there, you have Ohio Brothers versus Wasians, which here's the interesting thing. I think Wasians cut themselves at the knees a lot. They have probably, from what I've noticed, the biggest roster changes back and forth, week in, week out. I get so upset when I do predictions, and then we get to the games, and I'm like, 2 of the 3 people I thought were going to be playing are not playing, and it's a completely different people on those roles. And they're still kind of juggling around to find that synergy that they have with them, whether it's Ooga Booga, Chiclito, who was the original jungler, and it's just, and then Ashley wasn't in the last game, so it just I even though I would have, if they had like stuck with the same roster, I might even give them a game over Ohio Brothers, because I know from what Hoon has talked about, he said Wasians gave him the biggest trouble when it came to the actual qualifiers. And I think that comes with the unorthodox drafting that they do outside the box and stuff like that. And it's very surprising to deal with. However, I'm not sure that you can just surprise people and be successful. Yeah, there needs to be some kind of cohesion and planning behind that. So that's gonna come out Ohio Brothers right now. And I just don't think Wasians are gonna be the one that take a loss out, or take a victory off of them. Fallout Boys versus a BTK. Fallout Boys. Fallout versus BTK.
Call them the Fallout Boys?
You know, it's in my head
it.
because they're playing in Chicago and the next week. They're playing in Chicago the next week, so it's in my head for some reason because I've been hearing them on the radio. That's my excuse anyway. But Fallout, they have a lot. What I admire about Fallout right now is that regardless of where you stand on the drama, is that they have a team. They have members on that team that they would rather stick together with the team rather than mix it up here halfway through. And they did that, and which meant that they weren't able to go with the old name. They had to change it to a new name, which speaks volumes about what they think of the team that they have there. And I admire that because that's what's something I've been really kind of harping about in North America is like these teams like just juggling things around without very much care. And it just doesn't build good synergy. It doesn't build greatness when it comes to some of these matches. However, I don't know that they have enough to take, like I said, do I think that they have enough to take a win over BTK? I don't believe so. Just because I feel like right here, right now, Zane and team are going to just be on a rampage to try to prove, especially because of just how things have been going in the past few weeks for them. I think Fallout might be one of those kind of casualties right before we get into week 8. We're a few weeks out from week 8 at this point. But I feel like BTK will still be too strong for them to kind of take out it. And then the last one being Lamy Top versus Area 77. Area 77, I was very questionable about because this isn't the same exact Area 77 that everybody grew up. Everybody remembers from last year. That one basically, yeah, I was about to say grew up, but that when at the start of North America, kind of at the baby legs of North America community and stuff like that. It's not the exact same one because that one kind of broke up and then formed Ackerman, and then a lot of those people broke up and then formed are now in BTK. So this is they're not all the same players. I believe it's 2 or 3 players that are basically the same from him, and then 2 new ones in there. But they have been so strong that you could be fooled into thinking it's the same Area 77 that was so dominant last year as well. And unfortunately for Lamy Top, and I mean, I want to put it out there too. All of these teams like deserve respect for making it to the top 8. They all went through hundreds of other teams to get to this point. It's just that the distancing that you do, the gaps that you see sometimes here at the very tippy top of North America can put some things at odds. And unfortunately, Lamy Top, this is their make or break time for them here, competing against the very top in North America, and they're having struggles. Like we said, they haven't found a victory just yet, and I don't think that's going to come against Area 77. The big thing for me when it comes to all of these teams, I think the big names, sans BTK and how they're doing, I just want to add that there's going to be a huge shakeup. It's not just round 2 of the round robin coming up. We have a different patch. A lot of characters got nerfs and buffs. A lot of items have different abilities now that they do as well. Like I said, Mincetar is going to become a factor in the next coming weeks. I don't know if Joy has changed enough to kind of shake it up a bit, but I mean, there's a lot of different things starting, especially with the new ranking season that's going to be coming up. And that could be another factor for all these. It just because I know people might be thinking, what's going to keep these Wasians lost to this team last time? What's going to get them over this time? It could be their attention to detail when it comes to these new updates and everything that just came out yesterday.
All right.
Before we end this?
Yeah, go ahead, Yue.
Yes, so it does seem like there is a crowd of Empire fam that's like forming up right now. And I just want to say, like, they do have a coach, someone from overseas from SG, one of my friends, Wei, shout outs to him. And they're also one of the first teams to push a 1-3-1 strategy. As a no marksman, they had a Lapu Lapu gold laner one time on Mikasa. And they also had Alice. And if we think back to the qualifiers, the one team that actually almost tossed Ohio Brothers to the lower bracket was the Empire. So I just kind of want to make a move, like saying, like, hey, maybe Empire might win against Ohio Brothers in that next series. I kind of want to change my vote right now. I don't know if anyone else agrees here.
I agree with you.
I did say.
I'll side with you.
I mean,
I did say that. So that I feel like the Empire is like the underdogs that possibly could change the tide.
hey,
If there's anybody that could do it, it's them.
if you go back to watch Limey Top versus Ohio Brothers this past weekend, Limey Top actually won early game twice. 2 games in a row against the Ohio brothers. And obviously they messed up some macro rotations through mid-game, and that kind of threw off the whole thing. But if you really go back, I think what I want to say is every team in NACT so far has proven themselves that they can put up a fight. You know, they really can. It's a matter of correcting those small mistakes. Limey Top has definitely shown something that, you know, when I was trying to analyze their gameplay, they're actually a team that has the potential to win. So I don't think you should cross any team off, and I don't think any of the casters, the talents here are doing that today. So make sure to just keep on supporting, and then for those teams who are watching, hope you're taking notes from the top teams in NACT, top teams in MPL, and try to improve, right? So we can have a more competitive round 2 coming up. Last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have a little bit of final words from everybody who are here on the desk. Let's start with a lady first. How about let's start with Eunice this time? Yeah, Eunice, and then we're gonna go into the clockwise circle. Eunice, anything you want to tell us before we go here today?
Well, if I had to say anything, I'm just actually really happy that, you know, all these teams are really competing it out. I see a lot of grit coming out of all individual members of you guys. You guys are top 8 for a reason. You guys just didn't get here because you just wanted to. Seeing like the qualifiers and like everything happened beforehand, it really guys showed that you wanted to win. You guys wanted to fight, and now that you guys are here, top 8, you guys made it really far. Everyone's proud of you. You guys are doing beautifully great. We are rooting for you, everyone, including me, casters, Moontoon. We are watching over you guys. So I wish nothing but the best for you guys. Good luck, and I am excited to be casting, doing watch parties everywhere, just so that your names can get out there. So I'm excited, and I do hope to see you guys prevail, and you guys keep fighting for that #1 spot.
All right, Deku. You know, let's go to.
Yeah, I'm over here. That's why I started laughing. But yeah, I mean, my kind of words, I'm super excited for the rest of NACT, especially since we're about to head over into that second leg of the season. It's definitely, I feel like it's definitely going to turn up a little bit from some of these teams, and I'm hoping to see them kind of hit their marks, where we can get some seriously competitive matches every single time. You see a series, it doesn't feel like, you know, it's just one-sided or whatever, but everyone's just hitting hard. So that's my thing. I just want to see all the teams just keep improving, man.
Yeah, G, go ahead.
Yeah, same for me. You know, I'm glad to see a lot of these teams improve. I'm glad to see a lot of familiar faces that I've seen in previous NACTs. And you know, I'm actually glad to see that, you know, BTK is not on top. You know, like I'm glad to see that there's other talents out there that are now starting to shine, and that just goes to show that NA is growing. It's going to be an amazing year. It's going to, future-wise, the NACT is just going to constantly keep growing, even the players, and I just can't wait to see where everything's going.
All right, and then now I think it's Yue. Any last words for your fans, for all the viewers who are watching you?
Well, shout out to my YouTube, to everyone that's been helping me out, of course. You know, I got people everywhere in the North American MLBB community that just kind of like watches over us and watches over these tournaments. I always have watch parties for all this NACT, try to kind of like break it down live to you guys. So I try my best to give you guys all these informations. And, you know, I'm really happy that Empire is doing so well. And, you know, that's kind of one of the teams that I've been rooting for since the start. And, you know, I really wanted them to win, you know, throughout this whole entire tournament. So I'm going to be watching them with very close eyes. If you guys are Empire fans, or if you guys Fallout fans, please come at me. And if you guys want to cook me, come cook me.
What the?
What?
Whoa.
No, 'cause here. Let me describe this.
Hold up a second.
The whole thing with Gosu, and there's a bunch of drama and stuff. A lot of people been coming into my chat trying to like flame me and trying to do some TTing. And I had Deku here with me that day, and all he said was,
Oh yeah.
"Let him cook." And like back then I used to moderate my chats and stuff, but now like I just let him cook the same way Deku just told me, and it's kind of like something that's been sticking with me, and I really, you know, appreciate Deku coming out, you know, when times are hard. So I just let him cook now.
Inspirational.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, that's settled background. Okay, Private.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing thing. I came around the time right before M1 to Mobile Legends, around the time Zane came over here and watched Gosu perform in M1, and then kind of had a leisurely look around how the community was at that point. And just to see the transformation that has happened, because it was kind of stalwart. You had people like Dave, you had people like Pika, that were just running tournaments, and Aiko was there was just tournaments that were just happening that, like, it didn't really look like it was going anywhere. It was just kind of keeping the whole landscape kind of afloat. But what we have seen within the last 2 years of Moonsoon here is kind of it's been built off of that, and it has been like, with all the people, especially the people you see here, some that you don't see here as well, have had just a huge part in what it has taken. And especially you guys, the viewers, have been coming out in loads and more support every single week, every single season, and that's been the amazing thing for me. The big thing now is these teams starting to come out. We've got the familiar faces, which, I'm not going to lie, I love seeing them. I love seeing them stick together. But as has been mentioned here, it's nice to start seeing that new blood starting to kind of inch their way in and refusing to leave in there. Whether it's Lamy Top, Empire coming in there, bringing themselves to the top 8. But that is like setting out a tone for all the rest of you guys in North America. If you have a team and if you want to start competing, and it's time to start stepping up and stop making the excuses of what you guys need to do to kind of come together for it. It's now or never right now. Like, right now, I feel like North America is only getting stronger when it comes to all of these matches, when it comes to the teams, when it comes to the influencers and stuff starting to come up there, whether it's like Aiko or like brand new. I'm not even sure. Yui, did you stream before? Like, I want to say before the M series, or?
I mean, I was streaming around M4, probably around July, and of course, like, I'm new and upcoming, and I also got two tournaments that is like coming out that we're gonna be hosting next week. So a lot of things coming in too.
Absolutely blew up, like, and that's the thing that's happening right now, is there's this huge boom in North America, whether it's tournaments that Yui might be hosting, tournaments that are coming from other organizations, influencers coming up, casters coming in. We're gonna have Naisu at the finals. It's just been an amazing journey so far, and it doesn't really look like it's gonna start slowing down anytime soon. And that's what I'm really excited about, is because this has been a huge experience for me, and I'm sure for a lot of the viewers who have stuck around for a bit.
All right, Wheezy, the closing statement from
Dang, put
the
me on
man.
the spot, Dave. Why I gotta be last? That's correct. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, guys, honestly, it's been an amazing show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to all the cast on the desk. A lot of familiar faces on the desk, a lot of new faces on the desk, a lot of familiar teams, and a lot of new teams. Harping on what Private said, I know we've been casting NACT even last year. We've seen the progression from that, and just seeing where we're at today, it's insane, right? We got to upgrade in the teams. More players are competing. More coaches are coming out for North America. Who would have thought that it would have even been a thing, right? And to be able to see that is definitely something to be proud about. And also upgrade to the venue. We literally are just the next NACT down the line, upgrading to an even bigger venue. That's just crazy, and it just shows you the potential that North America has. And we just got to keep on that path. Shout out to everybody that's tuning into the stream as well. The community is definitely what keeps us alive. Even though we cast behind the desk, these teams put in the work. The viewers, the people that maintain that audience, and definitely showcase the fans what you love to see. We appreciate you guys as well. I know we don't harp on that too much, and honestly, guys, we really appreciate you. Oh, and not to mention, first time we ever did a caster duo desk. That's cool. All of us kind of competing against each other. That's something fun. All of us friends, friendly competition, but it's new. It's not something we've done before, but it's a cool thing to do. You look at MPL, you look at MDL. You don't really get this type of dynamic that we provide. It's like a one of a kind thing, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, yeah, guys. Remember, a little closing statement here. Big shout out to everybody who's on the desk. Make sure to follow everyone, okay? All their socials are in description for this live stream. So if you look down, you will get to follow everybody. I think everyone here made content, and then they have their well, actually, Eunice just started posting on Instagram. Interesting. So
Ooh.
yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, Coach Deku need to pick up the content, but everybody else is making content already. I think Deku is picking up really fast. So make sure to go ahead and follow everyone who's on with their social listed. And big shout out to everyone who's supported NACT so far. We do have come a long way. And remember, this year's NACT, 2 seasons, right? Spring, the grand finalist goes to Cambodia for MSC. This has been announced, right? It has been like, this is really, really cool stuff because I have never seen NA be invited to MSC before. So it's a new dawn for the region, and then we have the best talent to support it. We have the best viewers as well. I think we have the best community, to be honest. I think the NA community compared to the rest of the world, they're just something a little bit more spicy. You know, we're the drama content, drama center of the world. Yeah, we love it. So make sure to like, subscribe, and turn the bell into all notification bells. And don't forget, this weekend, same time, Saturday and Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Not Eastern Standard, Eastern Time. Eastern Daylight Time, right? That's EDT now? Yeah. Yeah, EDT. The EST and EDT, getting confused. Eastern Daylight Time, 5:30, Saturday and Sunday. Mark your calendar and watch the tournament. Support your casters, and make sure to join our Discord so you can vote your favorite caster, because we based on who casts the semifinals, whoever casts those tournaments, will be decided by you guys. So make sure to go there and cast your votes. And with that being said, this is us signing off. Anything else? That's it, right, guys? We're good.
Yep.
All right, that's a wrap. GG's, guys. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you guys this weekend. Bye for now.